We gon' party like it's your birthday.
It's like those dial-up days, right? I'd imagine. Anyways, we're going to get started here. It's a little early. We got about 1 minute to go. First things we're going to do is we're going to talk about ES futures. But as far as equity goes, looking at Workhorse today, Apple, and Amazon. All right. And they all have catalysts coming up on the 13th. There's also, something that's appealing as far as Microsoft goes. I'm already in spreads there, and we'll be looking at Microsoft chart as well. Let's go ahead and get started with the ES futures. Again, good morning, everybody. It's Friday. I hope you've had a good week. It's not been an easy week. I think it's challenging. I was talking earlier just about the market in general and how really, if you look at a 4-hour chart on the ES, you would think that I would have, and many people would have made tons of money this week, right? And I'm sure there are some people out there who have done really well, and I appreciate that. I love all traders. But for myself, it's been challenging. I look at this, and in many cases, the probability is probably more like 90, 95% that I would have killed it this week. But the truth is, I've done really well on futures, and on the options, it's probably been more like half and half, which really is not the greatest for me. I usually keep a winning streak close to around 70 to 85%. So this week has been a little challenging. But let's go ahead and get started here. This is the ES futures. We are on a 4-hour chart. I'm going to move this into a 2-hour, but I want to show you on the 4-hour all these green candles. And last night, finally, we got a little red candle. All right. Now that red candle came right down into our target. All right. Right here at 34.46. So yesterday when we went bid over the line in the sand, it was confluent with three things. And I brought this up into the room. Okay. So not only is it the 618 from the ATH to that pivot low that we had, it also happened to line up with the line in the sand, and it also lined up with the trendy accelerator here. All right, now the word accelerator, when price is under, is still resistance. Once we hold there, we will accelerate into that next level. In this case, what I'm looking for is a move possibly here right on open, right into my target of around 34.63. This should be resistance. If it's not, we look for this to hold about 10 to 30 minutes on open. And then I'm looking for a move here into a fib level. So again, this is the 618 or the golden Fibonacci level. This is the 76.4. So far as fibs go, this is our target. Far as Trendy analysis goes, this is a target here. ES, let's go ahead and do this. We're going to apply fibs to this range. And far as today is concerned, bulls are in charge above this 38 in this green box. Okay. Everything else below that is noise. I wouldn't be concerned unless we're breaking down the low of that range. That's the bigger picture. Let's go ahead and move on. Let's look at Workhorse. All right, so we have a little bit of a catalyst coming in here for the 13th. All right. And basically what it comes down to, Workhorse will know on October 13th if they get the 8.1 USPS contract. So for me, the chart itself looks rather interesting here. It's had a hard time getting over this trend line several times. You can see we popped into the trendy accelerator. Here's a great example of what I just showed you on the ES chart. Although the name is accelerator, it is still resistance until proven otherwise. If price can get over this accelerator, the probabilities of a move up into the 27, 29 go up substantially. For right now, this is an AC/DC setup. The way that I like to trade this is not be too concerned about entry. And also the allocation is not very big. That way, if I'm wrong, I don't get hurt. But basically, between these arrows, I want to be long into this pink line here. All right. So I can start in this area. All right. and then ads right down here by the red, or ads above the green. All right, but between the green and the red is a neutral right now. Basically, that's 25.60 by 22.22. All right, and again, what I'm looking for is 27, 27.90, 29.30. Let's go ahead and go to Apple. Again, they also have a catalyst coming up. All right, maybe inverse head and shoulders here. I'm not really into shapes. I'm sure some fanatic out there would tell me it's not. But what I see there is this. We are underneath the ACDC. Notice how price keeps coming up to the decelerator and price decelerates. I'm looking at a 4-hour or a 2-hour, just depends on today. And if we were to drop into this yellow box, let me go ahead and draw this out for everybody. If we drop into here, I'll be waiting for the turnaround, especially probably an inside candle. Once we get an inside and up out of here, I'm looking for a long and then trade into these levels again. Again, we have tested this a couple times. If it breaks, then I would expect some upside into the 13th. Now, just because we have a catalyst does not mean that price has to move up. Please understand that. If for some reason we break down and the market looks weak overall, then I'm waiting and I would like to get long right here into this area at around 112.84. And then the void under here is up to your risk tolerance. I'm looking at probably $2 or so. Again, starters can be here, adds above here, and then I can add again above here. All right. Anybody have any questions on Apple? I think it's pretty straightforward. All right. Let's go over here to Amazon. We traded this yesterday for a scalp. I think I only got about 7 or 8 points out of it. You know, in some cases, people would say, "Man, $7 or $8, that'd be great, right?" Like in Microsoft or Apple or something like that. But with Amazon, honestly, $7 or $8 is like 70 cents. That's how I look at it. This is a huge stock, so I'd rather be in it on a day where we get 50 to 80 to 100 points, right? All right. So Amazon, same thing, sideways consolidation. Let's look at the bigger chart. You can see we have a down range. We're moving up in that range. All right, right here. And if you were to do 0 to 100, you could see we're probably coming in just underneath 50%. All right. Also, ACDC setup, looking for overall into 34.75. Now, Amazon has been upgraded several times and it hasn't done a thing. Literally pops about, anywhere from $7 to $20 or so, and then it's sideways. I'm sure it's very frustrating for anybody out there actively trading Amazon. So just take it easy. All right. I like spreads into Amazon. That's just me. I don't want to pay up the premium for what they're doing here lately. This has got to be so frustrating. All right. So I'm either buying equity or I'm buying spreads. What I like here on Amazon is a move into these green arrows at or around 32.92. All right. 32.92. And then ultimately 34.75. So how would I want to approach this? I'm not buying this week. All right. I'll be buying next week. And what I would like to do is probably, buy a spread like 32.50, sell the 3300, or make it even tighter, for bigger risk to reward, right? Small risk, bigger reward, something like 32.70 and sell the 3300s. All right, so something like that. Now, just straight naked or straight up, then I'm looking again for 32.92. My neutral for today is 31.55. It's a void. You can see we have this gap here. We didn't quite fill that gap, so that's interesting. We did fill this gap over here. Under here would be a void under 31.29. 31.29. All right. So again, ACDC right here. Price is between the two arrows. The easier trade is above those arrows. The easier short is below those arrows. Right now we are in a box of noise. Pretty much that's how it is. All right. So those are three charts: Apple, Amazon, and Workhorse that we went over. And then let's go ahead and I want to look at Microsoft. Okay, so my buddy just reached out to me. He says, John, with the weather getting colder, which I find very interesting, right? Anybody out there like to watch movies on Netflix, stay inside? Gamers like to game. I will say gamers game 24/7, man. So whether it's cold or hot, some of my gamer friends from the past, they wouldn't come outside if there was a triple rainbow and a pot of gold. Seriously, they'd rather like be gaming. So I don't know how much that weighs, but Microsoft is interesting, right? But that's right, Christmas is coming up, so there's going to be sales right out the roof. So Microsoft, what we have here, same thing. We have a down range, okay, right here. We're rounding out a little bit. You can see the trendy edge is holding so far. We're lower on the curve, and this is why I currently have spreads in Microsoft. Okay, so I'm still looking for this move into here at around 228. Current setup right now is above the accelerator. You can see that. So we are between the AC/DC right now. Short-term targets 213 and some change. Above that 218.87, and above that 227 to 228. My void would be underneath the structure down here at around 206. All right, so that's still a pretty wide um, stop. And the reason why I did those spreads is because where I liked the stop for me to go naked or just straight directional, it's too wide of a stop for me. All right, so I'm kind of playing with spreads. My risk is, or my reward is capped, but my risk is small. Okay. And it's actually worked out quite well. So if I've lost any trades this week, they're very small due to that risk reward. Okay. And yes, October 13th. Good morning, team. When is Workhorse event? The 13th, I believe they hear the news, Raul. Okay. All right, so a couple other things going on. Let's talk about AMD. I have AMD. So I sold the earlier strikes that we had for next week. And so I'm kind of happy I sold those as price pulled back, but I still have longer dated. And I meant to get some shares on that pullback this morning, but I had my coffee and I took my coffee instead of buying the dip. Now I want to show you something that is very important what we do here at Trendy. All right. And so you will notice all my indicators are there before price, right? And so you can see here, even on a news catalyst, prices move down into our AC/DC setup. Now, I will tell you, I'm looking for this and above. This news catalyst, what it did was drop price into a level here, the gap fill, I mean, to the tick almost. All right, you guys see that? So right there, right there. Let me go ahead and just draw this for you, just in case you can't. But we have that, and then we have that wick right there. All right. But we also have the Trendy decel. So when price is above, we look for it to be support. This is where I wanted to buy the dip this morning, but again, coffee was more important for me. So where are we now? Well, on a 2-hour, you can see we're hanging up on the 9 EMA. If we could break over the 9 EMA, look for the gap fill and then maybe sideways from there. If it's strong and you know bulls just wanted this pullback, you will take out this high from yesterday. So what I'd like to do is just stay neutral for now. I'm going to create an alert at or above that high, and then I'm going to go ahead and create an alert below this. Okay. Now the longer term calls that I have on are 40 plus days out. So am I concerned? No. If I back this up, nice uptrend in a down range, just came into a level, buyer stepped in, and now they're just, can they take control? So again, can they take control? Then they'll break over this high. Look at this, 88.7. So everybody knows 88.7 is a big deal to me. This has been showing up in my life probably, I would say, at least 5 to 6 times in this past week. It's been really weird for me. I've paid things that were 88.74. My receipts have been somewhere around there. It's just been really interesting. So anyways, that's AMD. Let's go ahead and look at a few other things. I'm in some GS. All right, so here's GS. We're looking for that 211 target. Now I have some 210s. I have already trimmed them and just kept one on here to see if we can get up into this ME. But I just want to show everybody as well. This is kind of, a straightforward plan for me. Prices between the accelerator, decelerator. I'm looking for this pink line. For smaller account holders, to me, when price is in here, a lot of traders aren't thinking of a certain level, and that certain level happens to be a trendy edge. And then we're buying that trendy edge at a low cost. And when things work out, they really work out. All right. So that's GS. So still have that. So expect me to get out around that area. Okay. I want to go back into Disney. I did start some Disney longer term. Well, I would say longer term. I apologize. 7 days. And I'm buying lower on the curve. Unfortunately, it's still sideways. I really like to see this thing work before it doesn't. I think I'm flat on the trade. But again, we need to get past this. As long as we're holding this pink line, I'm happy. I'm looking for 126 to 127 into next week. All right. All right. Anything else you guys would like to see? Either things I'm holding or anything else. Not going to go over Okta because we literally, I bought this yesterday and I got 42 days. Um, let's see what do you got there. Facebook. Let's go ahead and look at Facebook there. Yeah, Facebook's looking really good as well. This is the same story across the board, folks. We came into a level. We're rounding out. You got the trendy edges. We're holding those. And you can see here, this is a trendy edge as well, that yellow line. Very nice move off of that. If you're just trading on the week for this Facebook, I'd be concerned because not only is the WE confluent, so the trendy edge, confluent with the decel, all right? So you're basically gapping into a little bit of resistance here, all right? But if we can hold over the decel, you're setting up into next week. Okay, you're setting up into next week an ACDC. So 266.85. And if we want to get, started on that on the ACDC, then I would be buying, this up here around the 274. Well, that's a little far fetched for Facebook, but 265, 270. And again, the void would be under 256. Okay. And look at gold. This is one of our broad market charts. All right, and these have done really well this week. I give you guys that on the morning note this morning. So here at Trendy Trading, what we do is we go long out of the neutral and we go short under the neutral. I mean, it seriously is that simple on these broad market charts. So right now you're in an ACDC, all right, on this Pac-Man, ACDC, looking for 185, man. I mean, I'm not going to look into it much further than that. We know that gold's been going sideways for quite some time, all right, but it's broke out of the neutral. And so far as I'm concerned, as long as that 178.80 holds, I'm looking for the targets up above 181.51, 183.88, 185.5. All right. All right, let's go ahead and look at NEO. All right. You got the trendy edge there. It's holding, right? So this one's pretty straightforward. If 38.85 can hold, then look for this high of 41. Let's go ahead and get you in. Is this the all-time high up here? Anybody? Tell me really quick. Yeah, okay. So what we're going to do, depending on most of you guys have a tolerance of about a week or two, maybe 3 days. So we don't want to go too far with our Fibonacci extensions. So I'm going to take the most recent range. I'm going to come right here and I'm going to push up into this 41 level. I'm going to double click and there we got ourselves some extension targets. So again, this pink line holds. We're looking for 41. Above 41, you can break out into 42.23, 42.99. And then look over here at your ATR. You're running at about $3.20. So again, these targets and stop look really nice. You can see here as well, I just want to point out this was an ACDC, buying the pink line when between these lines, things worked out very nicely. Okay, no problem. All right, let's go ahead and move on. SPOT. All right, here we are at 250 by 250. This thing, I jumped in this and it's literally not moving. I'm picking those stocks this week. A couple of them are moving, most of them are just sideways. All right, so ACDC is what we're looking for. All right, so we really need to break back above the let's get that level here, and I believe we are above it. 248, so 249. So we are above 249. So the way I'm looking at this, going into holding this position still, is Tom. I'm long against that, man. So here on the daily, the 9 EMA is holding. The ATR is $24. What's interesting is, let's go over here to the weekly. I mean, you talk 241 into 255. This thing's barely moved this week, really. All right, but nice rounding bottom. You can see that. Nice push up here. I'm really looking for the 266. Above 266, this thing can explode. All right, it's just taking its time to get there. Really, there's a lot of patience going on this week. Um, I think you guys would agree with that. GME, you guys did really well on this as well. Nice trade plan here. Check it out. It hit all of our targets. This was something that we pulled up, and you can see my next target here, all right, is right here at 1535. The way I would approach this, because I didn't have another target for you guys, as long as 1212 holds, I'm looking for 1535. Okay. Remember, this longer term look there. All right, and here's JD. Very nice. You can see that right from the start. This is an old blueprint. Let me go ahead and clear that. I love when you go back and you're like, man, that was my neutral, and look where it went, right? All right, so very pretty right here. It's at 79, so it is a AC/DC setup. Nice rounding bottom. Notice the respect of the 9 EMA on the weekly. Okay, what you really like to see here is above 80, 92. Let's just call it 81, and then we can start moving into 84. I really like this one. We'll keep our eyes on this. Okay, it's just a very nice clean chart, and we've already checked the 9 a few times. All right. So we'll keep our eyes on that. All right. And then over here, we have about 9 minutes going. My count's already up, and you guys know that when you have shares and so forth. This week, again, I just want to talk a little bit and be transparent, has not been the easiest week. Have some things move for us? Yes. Have we had some great patience? Yes. Like cat, right? Came all the way down. We added. I trimmed for 100%. I still have cat on. There were names like that this week. A lot of paper cuts, right, with starter positions, but I always like to go back and think, okay, if you didn't have a process, you didn't have a plan, and you bought some of these gap ups, or you got scared on the drop, I believe on Tuesday, then you got your butt hammered this week. There was none of that going on, all right, as far as my management goes, and you guys can see that. My alerts, they're right there for you to see how I'm doing, what I'm doing, when I trade, when I get out, when I trim, right? And I think that's the cool part. I think that anybody out there that's watching, I challenge you, and I want to ask everybody out there that's running a service, an education service. I don't care if you have a multi-million-dollar school where people come to learn from you. If you're trading with paper money, it's just not the same. All right. So we trade with real money here, and these alerts are straight from my account. And so there is 100% transparency here. Something I would challenge everybody out there to do. All right. All right, let's go back over here to the ES really quick. And what I was getting at on those shares, if we go into these shares, I still have some lithium here. Still have DFIN. I don't know when DFIN's going to move, guys. It's moving a little bit here. It's at 11.97. My trade price now is $10.08. Also have Tesla. Tesla looks pretty good. My trade price at 418. It's at 430. Again, that's a long term. All right, folks. So ES on the weekly, I want you to take a look at this. Nice rounding bottom, a nice push up here. Like I said, Fibonacci levels, 618, looking for the 76.4. All right. And what we're going to do on the 5-minute, we're going to come over here and we're going to get the PMZ ready. It should pop up here shortly. Right now it's showing a risk of about 1.5 point. Let's just say 2 points. And we're going to put this. It hasn't popped up on the screen yet. It will soon. And for anybody else that's watching out there, just to give you another glimpse here of the alert section that we have straight from my account, this is what it shows. So, it's very, again, very transparent. So when I lose something, it's going to tell you how much I lost. And this is immediate. By the way, this is immediate. It's letting you know how much I lose, how much I make, and so forth. So this was AMD after we trimmed. The first trim was flat. It lets you know when I'm actually adding. It lets you know when I'm closing, and it lets you know when I bought. Time stamped, how much I paid for it, so forth. All right, so there's your PMZ. As you can see, it's very thin this morning. All right, and let's just see how it works out. Usually what you'll see with the PMZ, that's just the name we gave it, is when the market is trending up, okay? When the market is trending up, this should go bid, and we should hit our target quickly. All right. When it's going to be choppy, what you'll see a lot of times is this thing will, let's say it goes ask down, ask as in ASK, not ask down. And then it'll come back up. It'll tap this, right? And then it will come back down. All right. And the reason why this works so well is because I did a lot of studying. And what happens is you pivot right before that time frame. And when we pivot, we create resistance and support. Some people call it supply, some people call it demand. I don't care what you call it, it works. All right. So let's go ahead and see here. To me, this is one of the most straightforward ways to trade futures. It works a lot more than it doesn't. But what I will tell you, it's all in your head. I don't care what great process you have. If you can't follow it, if you don't have your mind right, it's not going to work. All right. And give me a few minutes after we open up here, and then we'll look over there at GoGo. And I might have missed one. GS or T79. I actually went over GS like literally right after you sent that. I already went over it, so I'm not sure if you got a few seconds to see that or not. All right, let's play some music. Hopefully you guys can't hear this on Periscope. So we put a boat up in our boat lift yesterday, but it's our neighbor's. He's a boat dealer. He has so many boats. So I'm like, yeah, sure, use mine since it's empty. Kind of cool to see a boat out there, though. All right, 1 minute to go. This is what we call a neutral setup so far. Let's see. No, no, actually positive, negative right now. Remember how this is how futures works. They push up into the open. As everybody gets excited, they tend to pull it back a little. Okay. And so what we want to see is if buyers step in and take it over the PMZ. Got to give it a few. All right, Apple will push back. A lot of times, a lot of this stuff is going to, if the probability was 95%, we're going sideways this week. By the way, our HD's in the money as well, so just understand that. Okay. And actually, I want to show off the alerts really quick. You can see, so here is this. Okay, and then if I sell, so I'm going to let you guys know when I sell. So I put in an order and it just sold. Okay, so this was a spread. All right. Now this one doesn't make sense because it's a spread. We're trying to, on this percentage thing, we'll be going back to look at it. But sometimes if I've had them too long, um, it'll pull off the last sell. So, but you can see how fast our alerts are. Very fast. And the red means it's fully closed out. Sweet. And let's see here. So, all right, so then I'm going to show you right here on live alerts. Let's go into right here. And I'm about to sell Caterpillar. Okay. You guys ready? Everybody watching? Get ready. One, two. I'm going to click on the count of three. One, two, three, and go. Nobody's got a faster alert system than Trendy Trading. That is 140% on cat there, and it is closed. All right, so we did pull back, and you can see we're pushing out of the PMZ. If we could take out this high right here, I would expect price to move back into 3463. Let's see if they want to chop this, what they're going to do. Okay. And what's our Disney looking like this morning? Oh, it's actually green. Nice. All right, so there we go, bidding out. You can see also Apple right here. Probably should have started these both, Amazon and Apple here at neutral. Sorry, just managing some positions. But for you traders that are watching, you can see, I know, pretty cool, right? I think it's cool. The alert system is like state of the art, man. Pretty neat. All right, so those buying off the 114.92 level so far working. Those on Amazon coming down into the neutral. Nice push here. Let's see if we can get above there. All right, taking out, what you want to do is draw a line here over to the left. Okay, this is always a doozy. This pivot here. So a lot of times on my charts you'll see that setup, but yeah, we're almost in the money on GS, so just keep that. I'm actually going to just let it sit there and see if we can continue moving up in this red box here in the broader market. Okay, Disney up really nice this morning. I probably shouldn't say that out loud, huh? Disney. They used to say Disney stood for disappointing. Isn't that sad? And what's our Microsoft doing here? It's up a little bit. Oh, very nice shot. Good job, man. I'm gonna. I don't like the way this thing is working. I'm gonna close. So I'm trimming. I'm sorry. I closed United Airlines for a nice little, small little gain there. Um, I'm just the closer expirations for next week. If they're not moving big time, I'm gonna buy a little bit more time. So that's kind of the plan right now. So I'm just gonna let you guys all know that really quick. Okay. All right. Nice move here on Amazon and Apple. I want to see the ES kind of turn here. Let's go overhead and go to the Nasdaq really quick and see how our blueprints are doing over there. Remember, for Nasdaq, roughly about 41 to 42 points. You're looking at $1 in the Qs. Okay, everybody's going to work. Drop in the meeting, going to work. All right, there goes Amazon. How many of you guys already bought Amazon and Apple without me? Very nice. You guys always beat me to the punch. All right, NQ getting out of the PMZ here. And I want to bring you guys a little bit closer here. Nice move there on Amazon. All right, what you're looking for in Amazon is a push roughly into around 32.22 right now. I'm going to go ahead and put that line right here at the PMZ from yesterday. All right, and then let's look at this NQ really quick. So we do have a AC/DC setup. The issue that we have though is we have selling pressure at the accelerator. If you look over here to the left, we do have some selling pressure. All right. I don't think today is going to be easier than the rest of the week. Um, all right, so I'm going to come over here to, let's see here. I want to go into Lulu and I want to figure out if I want to buy more. It just kind of depends, you know. I was looking at the strike yesterday, and we really need to get over this 343 before I do anything else. And this was just a starter. What do you got on that 1111? Did you already buy it? Yeah, our Google trade from yesterday was really nice as well. All right, guys, we're getting pretty close to the selling pressure here in Amazon. So if you took it closer to lower on the curve, still looking pretty good. Apple's just slow starting. I don't see much of it, you know, much of a hang up unless the Nas were to pull back. Are you already in it, 1111? Like from a week ago or very nice. EXPI, very nice. And so today, again, just like the theme of the rest of the week, folks, on Apple and Amazon or anything like that, it's really about set and forget. I don't think today is going to be, like I said, easy. It could chop around and kind of kill some theta here. So because of that, I don't want to watch every tick. I want to set alerts after I get in, and if I get stopped out or I hit a target, that's all I care about. I don't care about the between. I don't care about the noise. So I'm buying a little bit more time with these than just next week. So I bought out 21 days just in case they try to pull some crazy. All right, so we're almost at target here on Amazon. So if you're just trading, just quick intraday, congratulations from here. I'd be looking at probably trimming right around this 32.22, and then again, I think a breakout can happen around 3229. All right. On Apple, you can see here, I went ahead and bought some 113 calls for 21 days out for 650. Okay, and I mean, there's obviously things that are cheaper than that, just depending on your risk tolerance. What I'm looking for again is a move into 116, 117, 118. All right, there's the touch for Amazon. And I think this is really important across the board. If we come over here into ES, Okay, let's go to a smaller time frame and just kind of see how that worked out there. All right, as you can see, although, that one little pivot here kind of stopped us, the PMZ held, and that's what's important. All right. All right, Disney up a nice 20% as well. And what I'm going to do is, because it's been choppy, I'm going to buy a little bit more of those out the money. Okay, and you can see here that I sold Disney here. Okay, and then I'm going to buy some a little bit more out of the money. The delta's a little high on that. Just give me a second. And let's go over here to this Disney chart. And I'm probably going to buy a little bit more time. I was looking at that and I was like, man, 7 days, really? It's not enough time, John. All right, so a lot of times what will happen is when we push into targets, people sort of give up, right? And really, if you just kind of measure this overall move here, as long as price can stay above that 32.10, then the day is pretty bullish. All right, so who cares that it's pulling back from 32.22? 32 holds, then great. And then far as Apple goes, we'll see if we can move into at or around the decelerator. Okay, and if we get a badass move, we'd be up here around 118. We're looking for the badass move, right? Yeah, we are. All right, so Disney, what I want to do here again is buy out a little bit more time. Kind of like the Apple, but not as deep in the money. I'm just trying to get if this will pop up. If you guys notice, the ES chart is still on here. This is crazy. There we go. Jesus. And we can see also what we want to see, okay, on this. Sorry, on Disney. Come over here. Oh, what's our workhorse doing? I'm going to pull this up. Let me look at my other charts over here. Sorry. Okay, so far a rejection, but a pullback to the EMA. So I might want to be looking at buying down here. But let's get back to Disney. I'm gonna buy up here at the 130 range, believe it or not. I'm gonna buy out a little bit of time and collect a little on that. Buy a little bit more time there. Nice, Homer. Good trade on Amazon, man. All right, let's go ahead and look at it. You guys can still hear me. Sorry about that. So we sold the Disney and bought a little bit more out of the money. And then I want to take a look at Workhorse real quick on that pullback. And Amazon's looking for that 3229. All right, let me sit down for a second. Just want to make sure. Catalysts are a reason why I look at something, but I'm not necessarily going to buy something just because it has a catalyst. But